Hey there guys, I just want to give you a quick update, video log vlog update of my training progress and racing and thoughts heading into my next race, which is the Lake Sonoma 50 miler, which is in a little less than 2 weeks now. Today's April 3rd, 2017. And yeah, just kind of the thought process. If you've been following me on Strava, you can see all my training, and basically it came down to this. I signed up for Lake Sonoma 50 first in the middle of April as a good benchmark. It's a race I've done before twice. I've won it before. I was third in a very competitive close finish year once with Zach Miller and Rob Krar. We all finished within 90 seconds of each other about, I think. I ran 6:13 there, which is solid, but I've never felt like I've mastered that course, and I'll get into why I'm doing Lake Sonoma in a bit here. But basically I signed up for Lake Sonoma, and then I had signed up for Chuck a Nut 50K, kind of as like, oh, this is a good build-up 50K, race a 50K before you race a 50 mile. And the turnaround's a little tight. The turnaround was a little tight, I'll admit that. I think it's a good strategy though, to race a shorter race as part of your build-up. A lot of times, a lot of people we coach, Sandy and I at our coaching business, sagejourney.com, we'll have them race a half marathon or do a half marathon hard type of workout before a marathon. And generally, if you're racing, your goal race is a longer ultra or a longer trail race, it's good to do some shorter trail races as part of the build-up, or at least have a good training block where you're doing that. Now, that being said, I don't treat any race as a B race. Chuck a Nut was not a B race for me, it was an A race. I take every race I enter very seriously as an A race, and because I knew it was going to be so competitive, I knew Hayden Hawks and Max King and Dave Laney and Tyler Sigel and all these guys are going to be there. I tapered for it quite a bit, and you can see that on Strava. And that being said, also I ran really hard there, ran as hard as I could, trying to compete for the win in a podium spot, which I barely held on to. I had to recover quite a bit from it, and so it kind of wasn't ideal. You see my mileage kind of drop, but last week we'll get some footage here from Moab, Utah. Sandy, I went camping with Sandy and her sister. A nice 6-hour drive about from Boulder to just camp and enjoy the outdoors and get some footage, but also to train on a generally warmer environment than Boulder, escape the snow that we had a little bit. So it was a really nice time out there. You could see the trails were spectacular and beautiful. Great time out there, and I actually was able to get my mileage back up with this trip even, and the week I ran about 108 miles last week with about 14,000 feet of climbing. So there is a little bit more of emphasis on the short hill repeats and getting in some vertical and getting in mileage. I want to push the envelope with mileage later this year. It's just now is not the time to do it yet. And recovery from Chuck a Nut was the first priority. Not overtraining before Lake Sonoma is the second priority. But it's going to be a stacked field. It always is. It's a golden ticket race. There might be some changes to the course that'll make it longer with more climbing, I heard, because of a mudslide, and it could be very muddy because the weather's been crazy in California this year. So we'll see. Fingers crossed. But the main goal of Lake Sonoma is a runnable, fast 50 miler, still 10,000 feet of climbing, is to be able to compare my times from previous years there, hopefully if the course doesn't change too much, and see improvement, because I want to improve. I want to say, hey, I improved myself, I trained better, I'm more mature as a runner now, more experienced, I ran faster, and I want to compete for the win. Every ultra mountain trail race that I do, I want to try to compete for the win. I'm a very competitive person naturally. You know, I love to be on the podium in a competitive field for sure. I love to just run to the best of my ability, but I'm not completely satisfied if I think I could win a race and I don't win the race. And I know that kind of maybe comes off the wrong way, but I've always naturally been a very competitive person, and I want to try to get the best out of myself, and that's why I do competitive races and I try to compete for the win and push it. But you know, podium spot in competitive races like Hong Kong or Chuckanut is nice and a huge honor to be running with those guys. But you know, the goal is to win UTMB this year, and you know, it's a tall order, but I always try to set my goals up here, and even if I fall short, at least, you know, I came close and I tried my best, and if I could improve myself, that's very satisfying. And so with time comparisons, if courses don't change too much, and depending on weather, you could kind of do that. And so that was why I picked Lake Sonoma as well. As you know, the competition, I'm sure it'll be a competitive race, golden ticket race. Now that being said, if you finish in the top 2, you get automatic entry into Western States as an elite. I'm not going to take it. That's not the goal this year. I do want to go back to Western States one year and try to improve my place in time, and compete for the win, but that's not this year. I had to make a tough choice early on in 2017, and the idea was that it was going to be a mountain year. 2017 is going to be my mountain year. I'm not going to do road marathons. I'm going to focus on my #1 goal, which is going to be to try to compete for the win at UTMB, or at least, you know, finish UTMB as hard and as well as I possibly can physically. And it's going to take a tremendous amount of vertical training, mountain training, and high mileage weeks, 140-mile weeks, 150-mile weeks later after Lake Sonoma here is what I'm looking at. But it's also a matter of not over racing. I don't want to be doing a really hard 100-miler, competitive 100-miler like Western States 2 months before UTMB, because learning from last summer, I had a really hard time recovering after Western States, and it kind of messed me up. I think it made me more inconsistent. I think doing 2 highly powered, highly competitive hundreds, especially dissimilar ones like Western States and UTMB in the same summer, is a bit more risky, and I think it would hurt my chances at UTMB if I did Western States. So that's kind of the impetus behind it. You got to pick and choose your battles, and you know, I also wanted to do the Comrades Marathon, Comrades Ultra Marathon in South Africa, the largest and arguably most competitive ultra marathon in the world. It's an uphill year at Comrades. I always want to go back to Comrades. I love Comrades. I signed up for it basically, or I was about to sign up for it, and then I looked at my year, 2017, this was back in December, and I was like, you can't do Comrades. You can't do Comrades. It's a mountain year, it's UTMB. Running fast in a road ultra, even a, you know, an uphill road ultra with a decent amount of climbing, is not like UTMB. It's not like sky running style, you know, European sky running style mountain races. And so, you know, this is my mountain year. Chuckanut and Lake Sonoma are my most runnable, fastest ultras of the whole year. Lake Sonoma still having 10,000 feet of climbing, but after that it's all mountain focus. It's all gonna be about steep vertical, logging vertical, and getting in the really high mileage, high volume training, and not worrying about the flat speed as much. And you know, that being said, I'm also not doing any road marathons this year. I really believe in the any surface, any distance hashtag, and I still want to, you know, always have that mix. But what I've learned in the last 2 years is that physically, at least for me, it's really hard to switch back and forth between the flat road running and the mountain running. And if we look at, you know, 2 years ago, I was doing the Boston Marathon, I was doing Comrades, then I was doing Speed Goat and UTMB, and, you know, trying to do all these mountain races while doing road marathons. And I think it kind of screwed me up in the short term for I didn't quite get my flat speed back enough to qualify for the Olympic trials in 2016. And I also didn't capitalize on my pure climbing mountain strength because I was trying to do these different types of races within 2 or 3 months of each other. In reality, I need like 5 or 6 months, I think, to transition. So still any surface, any distance hashtag, but I'm gonna have to have longer, more specific training blocks leading up into these different races. And you know, in hindsight, it's easy to see, and it's like, well, duh. And you know, Sandy's telling me all along, and it's like, well, you know, I come up with a lot of excuses. But that's, you know, what I've learned in the last 2 years with kind kind of falling short on some goals, but always trying to, you know, reach up here. And yeah, you got to pick and choose your battles. So after Lake Sonoma, it's going to be a big mountain focus. You'll see the vertical, you'll see the mileage in my training hopefully go way up, because I know I'm not quite at the level I need to be at to compete in such a competitive field at UTMB. And it's going to be, you know, that's the goal. I got to pick and choose, not do comrades this year, not do Western States this year. So that being said, if I'm top 2 at Lake Sonoma, I will turn down my automatic entry into Western States, which I've done before in previous years anyway. The other thing about Western States is a net downhill race, and it's very runnable and fast, so no, not a big fan of net downhill races either. I would never do comrades on a net down year. But that being said, getting ready for Lake Sonoma, I got to kind of taper in the next 10 to 12 days here, still hitting some kind of little rolling hills. It's a very unique course, and again, it might change because of the weather conditions, the mudslides out there. We'll see, but I'll look at the Strava splits and then try to go for a fast time and compete for the win there. Definitely thanks so much to all the support of all the Patreon viewers. Thanks to my title sponsor Hoka One for supporting this running dream. But you guys on Patreon really helped me up my video game, and all you guys watching here on YouTube, again, and following me on social media at Sage Canaday, Twitter, Instagram, as well as on Facebook, Sage Canaday fan page. That's also really made it possible, and something I really appreciate. So can't thank you guys enough. Hope your running's going well, and definitely stay tuned for more training videos, training talk, running advice types of videos. Comment below with future training talk topics that you'd like to see, and you know, check out Sandy's channel as well, Running Wild to Believe. She's got some great tutorials and exercise videos. We're gonna do more of those in the future. Again, we sell our training plans, coaching business, this is a business plug, at sagerunning.com. We got plans 5K, 10K, all the way up to 100 miles. New mountain ultra plan, advanced mountain ultra plans on the website as well. You can check that out, sagerunning.com. Thanks so much, guys. Couldn't do this without you. Hope your running's going well, and stay tuned for more VO2 Max Productions.